guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For everybody that's new, I am Uzinhle Mzileni, your host and friend in all things growth and personal development. And to everyone that's returning, thank you so much for coming back. Niphinde nibuye futhi. Guys, makesithetheni ngesijolo, especially dating as a single parent. And I know single moms are often judged more harshly than single dads. And phrases like a revolving door of men are often used to describe a single mom that moves from one partner to the next. But the question is, sitini, guys, when things are not working out and like sizamile, but it's not happening. And I know that I'm one person that has a low tolerance for bad behavior, including my own. So you can imagine, but for someone else's behavior, intolerance yam ingakanani. What then do we do? And I am one person that does the inner work, and I continue to do the inner work so that I may be pleasant to be around, that I may be pleasant to date. So sithini when the people we meet have not done the inner work? Sihlale simply because we do not want to be labeled. Asoze kalokusana. Which brings me to the question, Yoba, what is the right way of doing it? Like dating as a single parent. And I know that Sana, life does not come with a formula, but Sana, guys. But on a serious note, guys, I was actually reflecting the other day and I was thinking to myself, Basana, dating has never been a complication in my life before. And that speaking to me before having a child. And now it's like, yonkindo sana needs to be calculated. Yonkindo, you have to like missing ngondo before doing things. Like from simple things like finding the balance in terms of spending time with your partner as well as with your child or children. I have struggled kakulu with trying to find that balance because in my thinking I was like, okay, maybe I should split it as weekdays I spend most of my time with my son because uhlala nam, we are here most of the time, and then weekends I leave it to isjolo. There's friendships that you have to nurse, there's you that you have to look after, there's family, there's everything in between. So I looked at it and I was like, sometimes during the week I don't spend as much time because I am a working mom, so I have to make sure that the work gets done. I have to spend a bit of time with him. I need to make sure he does his homework, he does this, he does that, I do this, I do that. So I find that I don't actually get to spend time with him. It's just a matter of doing the necessary and moving from one day to the next. And then it's weekends. So it's unfair for me to actually say I'm going to spend the weekend with my partner when I haven't actually spent enough time with my son on the other hand. And then certain weekends are much busier than others, so I can't actually be in Esjolweni because life needs to happen. Sometimes I need to work, sometimes I need to be with my family. So Sana, I can't half myself also. So Sana, what a complication. And then I used to think, but you know what, if benhla sana, I'm a big fan of uhlala sana, by the way, that's cohabiting. Like my problems, Sana, would be minimized because I wouldn't have to do all this math of trying to find the balance between spending time between these people. Kubone. Because now I'd have all my people right here with me and life would be less complicated. But also you don't just get to a point where you are comfortable with introducing your partner to umntanakho, and especially getting to a point where you now stay all together. Sana. Which brings me to the point, When then do we introduce abantwana to our partners? Like, when is the right time to introduce our partners to our kids, or our kids to our partners? Like, do we introduce them when the relationship feels it's taking a peak, when it feels right for you as the parent because Sana, you're enjoying this person? Like, when is the right time to actually go about doing that? And also, when you have already done that, guys, who do you introduce this person as? I've struggled with trying to think about how do I introduce this person to umdanam. I have introduced my son to one person, right? And before I did that, I was actually like, yo, guys, the son now. When I bring this person to my son, or bring my son to this person, who do I introduce him as? You know? Because also, do I say Gubhuti? Do you say Gusisi? Because for me personally, right, I am trying to instill values, emdanin wam, and I am trying to teach them that anyone who is your mom's age, who is your mom's or dad's age, is umama kuwe. Umama is not just someone that is at home. Umama is not just your biological mom. Utata is not just your biological dad. So if you meet someone and they are around your parents' age, that is umama, that is utata. Anyone that's a bit less than that is usisi, is uputi, njalo njalo, you know. So now this is my partner coming in, and from that teaching, the right thing to do or say is, this is utata, you know. But also at the same time, I need to be considerate and not make it feel like mhlambi I am forcing the idea of a stepdad into this child. And also now, let's say, okay, fine, I have already introduced utata apendlini. Now, in terms of visiting, how do we do it? Do I now have to continuously sana walk out of my house and then there is sleepovers? Because Galoksana, I bought a house for myself so that ndikwazi uba free mntasekhaya and not have to go out all the time. Or do I now have to be considerate and actually nditake every day, every hour, every week, or a monthly ndiyataka, because I need to be considerate of umntana and the other people I stay with? Or do I enjoy the freedom that I've actually created for myself, sana umdwam eze, from time to time? Guys, sasasazifakas ntweni. And I remember with this one, guys, I actually had a disagreement with my mom, right? So she had come to visit for a weekend. So we have chats kumnandi, and then she finds out from my son, because you know how kids are. So she finds out that there's actually utata okoyo, right? And he actually came in for a weekend and blah 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 blah. So my mom talked about me Ngalendo, and then she was like, she doesn't like the idea that I bring in a partner here and we actually sleep in a separate room and the child sleeps in another room, blah blah blah. And it was a whole lot of disagreement. But again, my argument was that is how a normal household runs, Asana. You have umama no dada sleeping in one room, and you have the dad sleeping, and you have the child sleeping in another room. So I don't understand how it now creates an environment where it feels like mhlambi I'm abandoning umdana. And her argument was just totally against that, and also how we should screen partners and actually get to know partners before actually introducing them. I agree, guys. Yes, it's important to screen a person, and at a point where you feel like this is the person that you want to be with, this is a person that you think you'll be with forever, this is a person that you are building a future with. Because at the end of the day, I think we can't run away from the fact that we meet people and we feel some type of way nabandu, we fall in love, we fall in love with who they are, we fall in love with what they are, and we get to a point where we actually see a future with them, and kube mnandi sana kuthe ngco, and you actually get to a point where you're like, you can actually introduce this person to your child, yabo. Now the big problem starts, guys, when izinto start going south, right? And esijolweni akusajoleki, akusahlaleki, akusanyamezeleki. It's no longer love lives here, love has relocated. Like kuthiwani ke ngoku? Andithi now you were in a setup where you introduced umntu wakho, now your partner knows your child, you know their children as well, you have formed this happy family that you were trying to build for yourself, but now things are no longer going the way they used to go. For example, I was once in a relationship where my ex introduced me to his kid, and I was not yet comfortable to introduce him to mine. Now sajola kwamnandi kuya le na le, it's all rosy, it's all marshmallows, but now yaphela into, right? So I had known the kid and we had developed some kind of a relationship. She was a bubbly kid, she was easy to love, and it was that kind of a setup. But now we are breaking up, abazali bayayeka. And my one concern that I had was, and I even asked him during our breakup, bazothina abantwana, uzothina umntana. Manje ngicabanga sana. But anyway, but I was really concerned, like, what's gonna happen with the kid? Because in my head I was thinking, but okay, I've known this child, right, through him, and I've had this some kind of a relationship with the kid. I actually adored the kid, Nyani. So I asked him, so what's gonna happen now that we are breaking up? Like, can I call umntana? Can I maybe, when I'm thinking of having a play date with my son, can I invite her over? Do I keep the communication? Do I cut all ties with her? Like, what's gonna happen? Because it's quite a sad reality, because imagine we form these bonds and we break these bonds kwathina, yabo. And I actually asked him about it, what do I do? And his response was that we cut all ties and that kids will adapt, because they should know as well, Uguti, life changes and situations change, and they just have to adapt to that.
Which I agree.
What I wanted was that if I am cutting ties with you, then I don't think, Uguti, I have to cut ties with the kids as well. I can maybe call them from time to time. I could maybe invite them over for e-play dates. But when he said that, it made sense to me. Because imagine a situation where I had now broken up with him, right? And then I was still continuing to be in contact with the kid. He then meets someone along the line, and then he now needs to introduce that new person to umntana. Now there is this person that is hanging along the line because they still want to keep a communication nomntana. They have formed a bond nomntana, and now your new partner is not understanding of that whole situation because this is your ex, right? It makes complete sense, because you now need to consider the new person that you will be inviting into your life, the new person that might not be understanding of the whole setup, yabo. And you now need to create a new environment where umntana is able to understand that this is umama coming in because the kids are already maybe attached to this person, and now you want them to detach from that person only to attach them to the next person, and maybe that could repeat itself. Like, oh guys, like, what kind of kids are we building? Like, are we taking kids into consideration? Do we introduce once and then never do it again? Or do we asana? Like, for me personally, I've introduced umntanam to one person and I'm never doing it again, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I feel uba if sana kukangena izinkomo ekhaya amntasekhaya, no, like maybe come for dinner, ndikuphakele, and you will be my friend. I think I'm actually taking up my mom's way of doing it, because growing up she used to say ba nansi chomi yam. So I think for me, I'll stick to that. Izoba yichomi yam, coming in for supper. I dish up supper for you, and then uhambe, and then I'll come over, and that will be the story of my life until sana kukhale inkomo ekhaya. Until sana kukhale inkomo ekhaya. Otherwise, until next time, sana. Because the last thing I want is having to introduce multiple partners to umntanam, and at the end of the day confusing them, and maybe at the end of the day sana umntana aqonde sana umama asabaphujongwa ngabantwana kaziqonda uba ngosana umama ngalast. And kaloku we are raising ama-2K, guys. But anyway, guys, please share sanibani yenza njani lento yesijolo and parenting, dating as a single parent. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.